been a while since I took a look at Caleb and Sophia, Jehovah's Witnesses propaganda for children, so I figured we'd take a look with fresh eyes and see what they've been saying. They're probably most famous for their controversial episode called One Man, One Woman.
Carrie drew two mommies. She told me they're married to each other. My teacher says that all that matters is that people love each other and that they're happy.
Well, people have their own ideas about what is right and wrong. But what matters is how Jehovah feels. He wants us to be happy, and he knows how we can be happiest. That's why he invented marriage the way he did.
You mean one man and one woman?
Exactly. So, what can you say to Carrie?
Well, I could tell her about the paradise. I could tell her about the animals and the resurrection.
That's awesome. Let's practice.
Caleb and Sophia is presented to an audience as simple life lessons that everybody can appreciate. When Jehovah's Witnesses knock on people's doors, if they have a kid, they'll turn on Caleb and Sophia, give the kid the phone, and let him watch the entire series. But it obviously isn't as innocuous as they want people to think. They cram their own beliefs and moral ideals down people's throats. I picked out a few Caleb and Sophia videos at random and figured we'd go through them to see if we can pick out the propaganda techniques. Let's take a look at the first one. The title is Pay Attention at the Meetings. Let's get into it.
So we'll listen together to our first subheading, Spiritual Restoration, Why It Matters. Let's have the reading of paragraph 9.
Consider the historical perspective. Christians back in the first century enjoyed many spiritual blessings. Jesus and the apostles foretold that true worship would be corrupted and lost.
Some churches have a youth area for kids because they realize that kids have different needs than adults. They can't be expected to sit quietly for 2 hours with absolutely nothing to do. Even kids at Caleb and Sophia's ages, which I think is probably supposed to be between 8 and 10 years old. The talks they give at Jehovah's Witness meetings are long and dreary and are usually spoken at an 8th grade level, give or take. I honestly couldn't understand the talks when I was that age. The speaker wasn't targeting children. It's for the congregation. In my mind, it's simply wrong to force kids to sit there in silence and listen to somebody they probably don't even fully understand for 2 straight hours. It's certainly a quick way to make the kid hate the meetings. That's what it did for me. Let's continue.
What did you learn at meeting tonight?
No sleeping at the meeting.
And no playing at the meeting.
Good. Why should we pay attention at the meetings? Imagine if Noah didn't pay attention when Jehovah explained how to build the ark.
What happened, Dad?
You are right. He paid attention, and it saved his life. Paying attention at the meetings can help save your life.
This is one of the many things that really drives me nuts about Jehovah's Witnesses. Having come from that religion, after I left, I realized how ridiculous their beliefs about the old Bible stories are. Jehovah's Witnesses are an interesting version of creationists. I deal with a lot of young Earth creationists on my channel, people who believe the Earth is 6,000 years old and Adam and Eve were the first humans. Jehovah's Witnesses fall into a special category of creationists called Old Earth creationists. They think the Earth is as old as scientists say it is, which is around 4.5 billion years, and they think dinosaurs wandered around doing their thing a few million years ago, but they also believe that after the dinosaurs roamed around for a while, God created Adam and Eve and all the other stuff. They also believe the Noah story is literal, something that drives me up a wall. It's easily proven false. There are a ton of Christians out there who see it for what it was. A story. Something from which you can maybe derive a lesson, not literal. It's truly incredible to live in an age when we have so much knowledge at our fingertips, and we get to sit back and watch people deny it to their last breath. Bizarre.
He paid attention, and it saved his life. Paying attention at the meetings can help save your life.
At Genesis 6:22, we read, "And Noah did according to all that God had commanded him. He did just so."
Whoa, wait a minute, he's drawing. That's against the rules. Here's a little fun fact for you. When I was a little kid, if we fell asleep at the meetings, my dad used to draw mustaches and beards on us. Even my sister. It kept us from going to sleep at the meetings anymore. He got in a lot of trouble for that one. He wasn't a very good witness. Let's watch the next one. It's called The Ransom. Check this out.
Thank you so much for your visit.
See you later, Sister Elsa. Mom, is Elsa gonna die?
Oh, we don't know yet.
Can't Jehovah just fix her?
Hey, that's a good point. Can't Jehovah just fix her? They're touching on the subject of suffering, which is still, to date, a question that religion has yet to resolve. Why is there suffering? Can't God just remove it all? I guess Jehovah's Witnesses felt they had to address it because it would inevitably come up in people's lives. And if they get it in their minds as early as possible, they won't ask the obvious question. If God really does have an active part in people's lives as they claim he does, why doesn't he help people? Why doesn't he save them? Why does he help people find their car keys or help televangelists and charlatans fleece innocent people out of their money, but he won't save somebody's life with a simple finger snap? I have to admit, I'm curious. Let's see how Jehovah's Witnesses answer it.
Can't Jehovah just fix her?
Oh, honey. Oh. He's already done something to help her. Do you remember who he sent?
Jesus? But how does that help her now?
Good question. Sophia is showing off her critical thinking skills. Remember, this is propaganda created for the purpose of indoctrinating and controlling people. Every single thing in these videos are there for a very specific reason. Let's see how Jehovah's Witnesses decide to shut down critical thinking skills when they appear. Before we continue, I wanted to mention something. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, you can support me by checking out my Teespring or by checking out my Patreon. YouTube has been extremely unreliable lately. Patreon gives me the stability I need to continue making videos no matter what YouTube is doing. I also started streaming on Twitch recently. I play games while reviewing long-form videos like JW broadcasting episodes, among others. So if you like long-form stuff, check out my Twitch channel. You might find it interesting. I also upload edited versions of the Twitch stuff to my Telltale Unfiltered podcast, so if you aren't into Twitch, give that a look instead. Links are in the description and the pinned comment. Anyways, let's continue with the Caleb and Sophia video.
How does that help her now?
Do you remember how long Adam was supposed to live?
Forever. But then he didn't listen to Jehovah and ruined everything.
Since we are all Adam's children, that means we also get sick, old, and eventually die.
Well, hang on a minute. Sure, I guess that kind of makes sense if you're into blaming a child for the parent's failings. Though that's an idea we gave up on like millennia ago. If God is all-knowing and all-powerful, why didn't he take Adam and Eve, move them to America, since we know they were the only humans on Earth at the time, and humans wouldn't make it to America for a few thousand years if Mormons are to be believed. They aren't to be believed, but follow my train of thought here. Why couldn't God move them to America, give Adam a vasectomy, and create a new breeding pair, a perfect pair? In fact, put him somewhere that isn't directly next to a tree that can kill him. It kind of seems like putting a baby in a room with poison and telling it not to touch it. Honestly, I'm placing the blame on God's shoulders for all the suffering over the past few millennia. Not only did he know what was going to happen, but he had the power to stop it, and he chose not to. What is wrong with him? I'm just poking holes in the story because it's so ridiculous. Like I said before, if you want to believe in God, that really is perfectly fine with me. I have no problem with it. But don't deny science. Adam and Eve weren't real people. We have a strong understanding of how life evolved on Earth. The whole story is nonsense from beginning to end. Let's keep watching.
But what hope did Jehovah give us?
He sent Jesus to give his life in place of the one that Adam lost.
How could he do that?
Because he was perfect like Adam, but he obeyed Jehovah.
Yes. Thanks to Jehovah for giving us Jesus as the ransom. Now we all have the hope of living forever in paradise. And when we are going through tough times, like right now, that hope can get us through.
Then do it. Why are we messing around here on Earth right now? Jesus' apostles believed the end was coming in their lifetimes. They died never seeing it fulfilled. I have to imagine if we got a time machine and went back to Jesus' day, and we told his apostles the end still hadn't come 2,000 years later, they'd throw their hands up and walk away from the whole thing. It's honestly ridiculous. And I'm convinced the only reason I ever believed it was because it was crammed down my throat from birth. The end is not right around the corner. It's not coming any 5 minutes now like my mom used to tell me. Don't waste your life studying the Bible and praying to somebody who isn't going to do anything for you. In the next part, Sophia imagines what paradise is like. By the by, for those who aren't in the know, Jehovah's Witnesses believe that God is going to create a Garden of Eden Part 2 any day now. The vast majority of people are going to live in a paradise Earth after Armageddon, and only 144,000 people will be raptured to heaven to basically become angels to reign over the earth as joint kings and priests with Jesus. So let's see Sophia's imaginary paradise.
Elsa? Sister Elsa!
It's honestly sad how they exploit people's sadness and fear of death. It's one of the ways in which cults tend to control people. I see it all the time. Remember, this show is designed for children. This kind of imagery gets in you deep, and it's hard to shake off when you reach adulthood. They know that. That's why they do it. It's absolutely wrong. The next Caleb and Sophia video I wanted to watch is called See Yourself in Paradise. Check it out.
Wow, Dad, you really got a lot better.
Yeah, he has, thankfully.
Well, Jehovah has given me 8,000 years to practice.
Oh, look, they're here.
Wow! Whoa!
Like I said, the imagery is important. That's why they show it so much. They want kids to imagine themselves in it. They want to make it as real as possible for them. It makes them easier to control. It's something they can take away from you if they feel you've broken a rule or you aren't being loyal enough to the organization. Let's keep watching.
What about you, Sophia? What do you want to do in paradise?
Oh, I know. She wants her own butterfly garden. That would be nice. But there are some people I want to meet first.
Oh, Sophia, that's going to be so beautiful.
It's good to imagine ourselves in paradise. It helps us to rejoice in the hope that Jehovah has given us.
I think that's a character from a previous episode, some kid from a Bible story. And, of course, Sister Elsa. When I evaluate whether or not a group is a cult, I usually use something called the BITE model. I've talked about it before, but in case you haven't heard of it, it's an acronym that stands for Behavior Control, Information Control, Thought Control, and Emotion Control, BITE. It's the ways in which cults keep their people under control. Behavior control includes points like controlling people's hairstyles or the clothing they wear, changing their behavior through a system of rewards and punishments, that kind of thing. The second category on the BITE model, information control, mainly revolves around things like discouraging access to outside sources of information. Sometimes cults do that by creating their own propaganda materials like videos or magazines that provide information to you directly. Seventh-day Adventists do this too. The propaganda frames the information in a way that's favorable to the group or their beliefs. Thought control, the third category of the BITE model, includes things like programming in black and white, us versus them thinking, employing thought-stopping techniques, and shutting down emotions like anger or homesickness. What we're witnessing right now is the fourth category on the BITE model, emotional control. It includes things like exploiting your fear to make you more malleable and willing to shut down critical thinking. The thing that differentiates cults from religions is the level of control. Jehovah's Witnesses can't throw you in jail for breaking a rule. They can't sentence you to hard labor. That stuff is against the law. They can't physically restrain you, so they have to restrain you mentally. They have to make you so afraid of stepping out of line that you won't even allow your mind to wander in the wrong direction. If you start to ask questions about what's happening to you, about how you're being treated by this group, you risk missing out on eternal life. You risk losing the chance to meet people you loved and lost. A lot of religions do that, but Jehovah's Witnesses take it a step further. If you break a rule, they'll cut you off from friends and family who are still alive. They set up a system that makes it impossible to leave without losing everything and everybody you've ever loved. That's exploitation of the fear mechanism, among other things. They're masters at this. They've been doing it for 150 years, and they're only getting better at it as time goes on. Something deeply bothers me about the fact that there's some kid out there who's watching the same Caleb and Sophia videos we just saw. Right now, as we speak, the more people talking about this, the harder it is for them to hide the cult's destructive nature. Anyways, that's all I've got for you. Thanks for watching, guys.